This is Rob Tabbert for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted, as always, to be joined by blue chip super lightweight prospect Dalton Smith. We are here in the Buatsi dos Santos bubble. We're actually in the barber shop of the Buatsi dos Santos bubble. Just get yourself a nice trim there, Dol.
I'd have probably got one, but I've already had one before, so I'll keep it in mind next time. I might come and get a fresh trim.
You're looking fresh enough as it is. Talk to me about the opponent. You're boxing Lee Appleyard, second time lucky. We were supposed to see this fight a few months ago. We didn't. Talk to me about the fight.
Yeah, like you say, I was meant to fight him, I think, February, March. He tested positive for COVID. We're able to get back on now, and this is a fight what I wanted. I felt this is where you're going to see the best of me, and I feel like this style what Lee brings, it's suitable for my style. So, I'm glad we can get it back on.
How are you settling into life as a professional now? You've had a few fights under your belt. You've been slowly kind of creeping up the level of competition. This is a sizable step up compared to where you've been previously. How are you adapting to the pro game?
I feel like I'm adapting well. My performances have been going good, and every time I fought, I've been stepping the opposition up. I'm not going to rush things, but I feel like Lee, he's the perfect fight for me now. Where it's that more of a step up. It's worked out better because we're able to get the English on the line now. So I just feel like this is a perfect fight for me at this stage in my career.
What are you expecting from Lee? Obviously, on the domestic circuit, he's quite well known, but I'm assuming people who are going to be watching this who are not too familiar with him. What are you expecting from him on Saturday night?
I feel like he's going to push me to the. I'm going to get quite a few rounds out of him, but I feel like as the fight goes on, I'll work his rhythm out. I can adapt a lot more than what Lee can. I feel like I'll adapt as the rounds go on, breaking down. But he's fit. He is a professional. Do you know what I mean? He trains hard. So I'm expecting a well prepared Lee. He says he's in the best shape of his career, which they all say that every fight. But this should be an over fight. He should have prepared just like he has for every other fight. Every fight you train like it's your last. So, but he's always fit, and I'm expecting him to get a good few rounds out of him, and he's gonna learn me a few lessons in there.
You in the best shape of your career coming into this one?
Oh, I've never been in this shape before. Unbelievable.
Standard question and answer there. Since the last time I spoke to you, there is of course a new world champion out of the Steel City Gym in Sheffield. The second to come out of there in recent years, Charlie Edwards. Now Sonny Edwards, of course, somebody who you train alongside every day. What did you make of his performance the other week?
Just like every other comment, boxing masterclass, and I keep saying it. That's the art of boxing. Hit and don't get hit, and I think everyone who's a big boxing fan knows how talented Sonny is. He's probably not the most eye pleasing for the fans who want a scrap and a war, but he's a clinical fighter. He does everything perfect.
How much confidence does that give you seeing somebody? I know you've known Sonny and trained alongside Sonny for a number of years. He's been with your dad, Grant, a trainer for a number of years. You've seen him now go through the levels, go through British, didn't really take the pit stop at European, the fights weren't really there, and now he's won a world title. That must be such an inspiration for you.
Of course it is, and it's a proud moment for me to see for my dad as well. Son, he's had him from the amateurs, come through, and he's it's his second world title now. But me seeing that, I had the chance to box live on Sky Sports on my debut. I think Sonny boxed him, Marbella somewhere on a small old Spanish show. So it just shows, and I've seen him progress. I've been to every single one of his fights, bar one, I think, and especially his world title fights I couldn't get. And it just shows, like, work hard, have the right team around you, and you can reach anything in boxing.
Let's talk about your dad, the elusive Grant Smith. I am harbouring some small hopes of still getting an interview with him this week. I've actually heard, rumours are, that you've had 2 back-to-back camps where there's been no arguing and everything's been quite smooth sailing and stuff. What's it like working with your dad day in, day out, and how that relationship has, obviously he's your dad, but also as boxer-trainer developed?
I wouldn't say no arguments. 100% there's been arguments in there. We probably had one this week, what we forgot about. But now he's... my dad knows me better than anybody else. He's not one for the cameras, as you know. He don't like the limelight. His job is he likes to train his fighters, and he gets his pleasure out of seeing his fighters win. So, but yeah, we have had his arguments, but it's been no other way since I was 5-6 years old. So, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Must be nice for you. I mean, all jokes aside, must be nice for you to see him getting the accolades and the credit for, first of all, obviously Charlie's win, but also Sonny's.
Yeah, it's a proud moment for me to see as well, because I've seen him do it the hard way. You know, he's come through with the amateurs, you know, come set up with his professionals. You know, he's only been full-time a couple of years now. You know, he earned a good living at work. He was a kitchen fitter. And he thought, you know what, I've got to go full-time when I turn professional anyway. So I said, Dad, look, it's shit or bust, just go for it. You know, if it works out, if it doesn't, you can always go back to fitting kitchens. And, you know, I've seen the hard work he's put in, the sacrifices he's made. And it's just nice to see the rewards and, you know, the nice comments he gets from the boxing world.
One of the things that I've spoken to you about previously, and again it's kind of cropped up this week on social media, is, you know, there's a certain amount of intrigue and interest into your career, not only here but also across in America. Does that put any more pressure on you? Do you relish things like that? Do you care about things like that?
Of course, it's nice and it shows that I'm doing the right thing. But, you know, I think for me, the team I've got around me, the hype won't ever get to me. You know, it's not the person I am. It's not how I've been brought up. And especially like my group of friends I've got around me. So, but it's nice to see that shows I'm doing the right thing. But it's all hype, and I'm still young. I've got a lot of, you know, I'm only boxing for an English title this weekend, and for me, my goal is to one day become a world champion. So I've got a lot of more hype to build up.
Speaking of world champions, of course, we are just a couple of weeks away from a world title fight in your weight class, 140-pound unification, undisputed title fight between Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez. Who wins, Dalton?
I've said it from day one, Josh Taylor. You know, I think he's the best in the division, and I keep saying it, even though he's my weight. You know, I rate him, and I study Josh Taylor, even though he's southpaw. You know, but I think he's pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world, and I really feel like against Ramirez, he can win the fight inside the distance as well.
Now, you're a fan of Josh Taylor. Somebody else that we know you're a big fan of, Canelo Alvarez. I'm talking about Canelo the fighter, not Canelo your dog. Boxing Social fans will remember that your dog is called Canelo. We saw him in action this past weekend against Billy Joe Saunders, 8th round stoppage victory. What did you make of the fight?
You know, obviously, like you say, I'm a Canelo fan, but, you know, I was backing Billy all the way. You know, there'd be something wrong if I didn't want him to bring the title back. And I thought if anyone's going to beat Canelo, I thought it'd be Billy. But scoring the fight, I think I had Canelo 1 round up. It was very close, but you could see the turning point was coming. You know, with the stick Billy's getting, saying, "No, he quit. He's quit. He didn't want to carry on." You know, that's bullshit. The corner did the right thing, and I'm sure my dad would have done the same if I was in that position. And, you know, he showed his class in there. He showed he was world level, and with the pound for pound best in the world. And his corner did the right job, and, you know, hopefully he can come again.
With Canelo, what would you like to see next for him? I mean, he's looking at the Caleb Plant undisputed fight by all accounts. A lot of people, myself included, have Canelo a big favourite in that fight. When's he going to get tested? Is he going to get tested?
That's the thing, and I think the time he was going to get tested, he passed them. And I think the next fight's what's potentially lined up for him. I think they're his easiest options. So I can't see nobody beating him. And to be honest, once he unifies the division, where does he go from that?
Okay, Dalton Smith, always a pleasure catching up with you. Before I let you go, there's going to be plenty of people watching this who are going to be excited to see your return this weekend against Lee Appleyard. What they're going to see?
Clinical performance, you know. I'm expecting a tough, you know, game, Lee Appleyard, and, you know, that's where you're going to see the best of me. And, you know, just tune in because, you know, I'm going to perform. Okay, well, always a pleasure catching up with you. I'm going to go and try and grab a word with your dad now. How do you think that's going to go? Probably, chances are slim. Chances are slim. Do you know what as well? I tell him all the time, I'm just like, Dad, just get on a couple of, like, build your profile up a bit. He's like, you know what, I'm not arsed, I don't want to do them. I'd rather let you do them. I was like, I can only tell him.
Maybe you're putting a good word for me. Yeah. Dalton Smith, always a pleasure catching up with you. Best of luck on Saturday night.
Yeah, appreciate that as always. Nice one.
Cheers, mate. That's great.